How's it going beyond the benches? It is your man JT once again here to wrap up the 2018 NFL draft for the Miami Dolphins, which was a very interesting draft. I don't think it went the way that a lot of Dolphin fans expected, but there was a lot of good, and there also were a lot of questions that appeared out of this draft. But what I want to get into first is basically my themes of the messages I thought were sent in this draft. Because as far as the prospects, typically we break it down and we give way too early grades. But, some of these guys work out, some of them don't. Some are okay, some are great. That's kind of, you usually get maybe one great guy, one average guy, a couple bust, in a typical class. So I think most importantly, most of the time, is what is the message being sent? What is a team trying to accomplish in their draft class? For example, when you see something like the Packers where they go first and second round cornerback, there's a pretty clear message sent as far as what they think about their team, what needs to be improved, what they're trying to get done. And I thought the two messages sent in this draft were two things. One, this is Adam Gase's team, and two, this is Ryan Tannehill's team. I thought it was clear that this was Gase's team, and he had a big impact on a lot of these picks, much like I felt that way last year. But Gase likes him some speed. We saw that in free agency with Danny Amendola and Albert Wilson being brought in. And this year we got Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the fastest free safeties in the draft. We got Mike Gesicki, probably the fastest tight end in the class, and we got Jerome Baker, probably the fastest linebacker in the class. So a pretty clear message sent there that this is Adam Gase's team, and a clear message as far as what Adam Gase wants. But of course, no quarterbacks were added, and I'll get into each and every pick in a second. But this was really, I thought, the biggest message sent. They didn't trade up for Rosen. They passed on Rudolph in the third round. They would pass on Kyle Lauletta. They would pass on Mike White. They would pass on Quinn Flowers, on Riley Ferguson, on all these guys. So far, they haven't even added an undrafted free agent. Right now, it is Ryan Tannehill, Brock Osweiler, and David Fales. And I think the message sent is it is Tannehill or bust. These front office has put their faith in Tannehill, who I like. But now it is time. I think this is one of the best situations Tannehill's ever had. So I am expecting good things, and I'm expecting Tannehill to come back and have success. But the thing is, this front office did not leave any plan B. If Tannehill fails, so does this front office, and I think they'll all be gone. If Tannehill succeeds, this front office will succeed, and they'll be around for a while. This is basically the same thing as the Jets drafting Sam Darnold, in my opinion, or the Bills drafting Josh Allen. You pretty much got a franchise quarterback out of this class because you said Tannehill's the guy, and that's it. And there were options, but they didn't take those options. And their option is Ryan Tannehill. They believe they can make it work. And I am excited to see Gase and Tannehill back together. The best I've ever seen Tannehill was when he was with Gase, and the best I've ever seen Gase was when he was with Tannehill. So I'm excited, and I think there's a lot of good weapons. Now, I addressed Minkah Fitzpatrick already in a previous video. If you want more information on that, go check that out. As far as Mike Gesicki, I thought this was a really good pickup. Again, probably the fastest tight end in the class. Miami really needed a tight end. They took two. I don't have a problem with that. This is the receiving tight end that we take in the fourth round. We would take Durham Smith, more of a blocking tight end. I think that's a really good situation. I understand maybe some people thought you could teach Gesicki to block, or you could get a blocking tight end later. But you don't know how the draft board is going to play out. And so if that's what they did, then that's what they did. In the third round, Jerome Baker, though, I thought was where they kind of lost me. I just didn't think he was the best linebacker available, for one. I think he'll be good, and I think, by his second year, he'll probably be a starter on this team. Probably be able to replace Kiko Alonso at some point, but I just thought, Mason Rudolph was right there. I thought you could have avoided a lot of this Tannehill or bust by taking him. I thought you could have maybe gotten someone with a little more upside. And even then, I thought there were better linebackers available. So I'm not mad at the pick, but I would say it's a pretty average pick. It addressed the need, but I thought they could have accomplished something special with that third rounder. I felt like they missed out. Caitlin Braylage, though, the running back in the fourth round, I really like him. And I like this trend of taking a running back in the mid-rounds every year. We've gone from Lamar Miller to Jay Ajayi to Kenyon Drake to now Caitlin. And I think think he'll be the number 2 running back sooner than expected. I think Frank Gore's going to be there for veteran leadership. He'll get his carries for sure. He can still give you some stuff, but I think it's going to be Kenyon and Kalen leading this team for a few years at the running back position. 6th round, they took Cornell Armstrong, cornerback. Don't really know anything about him. I don't know if he'll make the team or not. I feel like at least he would at least make the practice squad if available. So we'll see. Unfortunately, I do like to study a lot of guys heading into the draft. He was not one of those. Quinton Poling, a linebacker they also got. I think he'll be a good special teams contributor. Maybe a Terrence Fede kind of replacement. A tackling machine, special teams. Maybe after a year or two, tries to become like a Mike Hall type of linebacker for us. So, I felt like that was pretty solid. And then in the very last pick, kicker Jason Saunders. Some people may have wanted a different kicker, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on what kicker's good and which one's not. If this is the one Darren Rizzi wants, that's cool with me, and he's going to be our new kicker now. They did add the Florida Atlantic kicker as well for some competition, but I think Saunders will probably win that. The one thing I heard about him was that people think he has the strongest leg in this class, which would be cool, I guess. Even though accuracy is probably a little more important. So my overall thoughts were it was a solid B class, and I really feel like if you don't think the team needs a quarterback, and if you think Tannehill can come back and be the guy and be a franchise quarterback, then you should love this class because they addressed a lot of needs and they got Tannehill a lot of help. But if you have your doubts about Tannehill, I think you would have your doubts about this draft class as well. So let me know what you guys think. What side of the boat are you on? And what do you think the Dolphins did good? What do you think they should have done in this draft class? Comment down below. Let me know. And as always, peace.